All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Okay, guys, so we did get a bit of a pump today on Bitcoin. It was pumping for a majority of the day. In the last hour or so, maybe a couple hours here, we have been dumping on Bitcoin, and some of that is news related about the Iran and Saudi Arabia stuff going on with the United States getting involved. Anyways, Bitcoin in yesterday's video, we were looking at a couple little resistance areas on the chart, and we did break through both of those resistance areas. So let me go ahead and throw those resistance areas on. Let's see, not that guy. Okay, looks like I deleted the other one. But we were looking at the macro value area high in conjunction with the anchored VWAP, and that was around that 1065 area. That was a possible area of rejection. You can see as we came up there, we said we wanted to see some bear divs on the chart. And let's just zoom in onto the 30-minute chart here. We did not see any bear divs on the chart as we were coming up into this level. We pretty much saw a little bit of resistance there, broke above it, back tested as support, dropped to our VWAP, and then busted up to the next box, which really was the box we were looking at rejecting from. That was our golden pocket, value area high, and a naked daily point of control that was in there as well. If we turn on those naked daily points of control, you can see that we had a naked daily point of control at the bottom of the box here, and the top of the box was the value area high of the range of our last 5 weeks of price action. But Bitcoin continued to pump through this. As we were coming up into this resistance area, we were seeing local bullish CVD absorption on the charts. So I did post in the Discord, I am not looking for a short from here. I did TP some of my long position at that area, but I was not looking for a short because we were seeing local bullish CVD absorption. So as we were coming up into that area right up in here, 1079, you can see here on the charts, on the open interest charts, we were making higher highs in the price action, higher lows in the price action, lower lows in our CVD, and our open interest was increasing, showing that local bullish CVD absorption at the golden pocket. You would expect to see some bearish CVD absorption, or at least neutral if we were going to reject. But because we were seeing that bullish CVD absorption, I did not look for the short at that area. We ended up busting through it, and we came up a little bit higher. You can see we came up to our 786. So if I take this same fib pull, and this fib pull is going to be from the March 9th highs down to our lows last Thursday, and we turn on, let's just turn on both the golden pocket and the 786. You can see our golden pocket was at that area where the purple box is, and our 786 was just a bit higher, grabbing some internal liquidity of these highs from June 12th. But we came up, and also the 786 was also our pitchfork midline. And since losing this pitchfork midline, we've kind of been struggling with it. So lost it again last week, came back up for a bearish backtest to that pitchfork midline in conjunction with, in confluence with our 786. Now, when we first did come up there, we barely front ran it. You can see here on Coinbase, just by a hair, we had front run the 786 touch. And I was looking at possibly coming up to actually touch that 786 and see the SFP. And we did see that 786 SFP. Now, I did not short this. It was looking like we were not seeing any real bear divs on the chart. So you can see on the 30-minute, no bear divs locally. If we go onto the hourly chart, our money flow on the hourly also looked really strong at the time as we were coming up into this area, and no bear divs on the chart. Now, NAMI did print some bear divs that confirmed right after, right coming up into that high. So NAMI was giving us a bit of a signal, but money flow still looked pretty good on NAMI and healthy on NAMI as well. So, and I always think that the money flow will always overpower a single drive of bear divs. So I did not take that short up there, but we are dumping from resistance. Let me go ahead and change this just back to the 786, and I will get rid of this purple box now. But here's the key thing, what happened today. We were able to bust above not only the macro value area high at 1065, but we were also able to bust above the 5-week range value area high around 1079, 108K. But rejecting from the 786, creating an overall lower high in the charts. And now we're dumping back within both volume profiles with some volume to the downside. This is looking pretty bearish here. Yesterday, I did say on the video that the highest probability for me was, before breaking the all-time highs, was to come down and take out Thursday's lows. And Thursday's lows still have not been taken out yet. If we go ahead and turn on, let's see, where is that? This guy here. I do think it's a probability that we still could come down in SFP Thursday's lows. We have that liquidity grab from the Thursday's lows into the 786 that we never hit down below. It's also our pitchfork band, and it's the value area low of the range. So bounce from point of control on Thursday, came up to value area high, rejected value area high, saw a small deviation above, rejected value area high. Now we're dumping. There is a probability that we could dump all the way back down to that value area low to grab the liquidity from last Thursday's lows into our box of support, and then we could continue to keep ranging. We want to really see us hold this value area low, get back above the point of control, flip that to support to continue to work our way up to higher levels. Overall, Bitcoin is still just ranging, and we trade the range until it breaks. So now that we deviated their value area high today and we're dumping back within the volume profile, if this anchored VWAP that we're pretty much at right now does not hold, I do think there's a high probability we could come down to take out Thursday's lows. But let's go ahead and check our fib. We'll pull a fib from the lows on Thursday to today's highs. Let's turn on our golden pocket. Golden pocket is coming in right around this small range consolidation. Like if we just pull a volume profile of this guy, point of control is going to be in there right around that golden pocket. To me, it's not the biggest level of support, but golden pockets oftentimes can give us a small bounce. So be aware of that 105K area to 105.1 as an area where we could see a little bit of a bounce on Bitcoin. But if we get down there, I honestly would be expecting a lower high, a bounce from there, a lower high, maybe to backtest that VWAP before continuing back down to take out Thursday's lows. The interesting thing on the charts is Bitcoin was seeing some really nice bullish CVD absorption throughout the day, and we still are developing some bullish CVD absorption. In yesterday's video, I talked about from Thursday's lows, we were seeing pretty flat CVD, but I did say if it continues to drop tomorrow, which is now today, and our open interest continues to rise on this area, we would be building some bullish CVD absorption from Thursday's lows. Well, you can see here now we are making overall higher lows in the price action. We are making lower lows in the CVD right now, and our open interest overall is continuing to rise. I do not like to see these sharp decreases in open interest. I like to see a more steady rise. So we would want to see some buying coming in soon. We would want to see open interest starting to raise soon, whether that's new short positions, because if we see CVD continue to drop, open interest increasing, that would mean new short positions are coming in. They're also coming in pretty late, and those could be fuel for that bullish absorption to push us up to higher levels. So we are possibly setting up for some bullish CVD absorption for a short squeeze to the upside, but we do need to start seeing open interest increase relatively quickly here, because if this continues to drop, it's going to invalidate that bullish CVD absorption. If we continue to drop, I would say even below around this area here, we would invalidate, in my opinion, the bullish CVD absorption on the charts. It is Bitcoin's dumping. Trump just tweeted about Iran will never be allowed to have a nuclear weapon, and unfortunately, well, first of all, a lot of people say, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. We were at resistance. We were expecting a possible rejection from this area. And then, of course, the bearish news comes out as a catalyst to help push us down. But this was our level of resistance. Make no mistake about that. A level of resistance that we could have rejected from. And now that we're dumping back underneath both the value area highs of the range, there is a probability that we could just continue to range within the range that we've been in for 5 weeks. This range here. There is another possibility. I don't think it's the biggest possibility, but we could be looking at this as a 1-2-1-2. This is a 3. We're going to see a 4, then 5-4-5 coming up to break all-time highs, an impulse to the upside. If we look at that, though, let's go ahead and turn on our volume. Volume has been really decreasing as we've been making the move up, and I did talk about this in yesterday's video too. From the lows on Thursday, volume overall has been going lower and lower and lower until we got pretty much to the highs of the range, and oftentimes, or the highs of today, and oftentimes on the highs of the day, you see that big spike in volume, which is the end of the corrective move before continuing the momentum in the direction it was. In this case, it was down. We saw price increasing with a lower and lower volume, the big spike at the end of the correction, and then the dump continues. So there is a possibility that Bitcoin does come down and take out Thursday's lows. I will be looking for that. Now, we're in the general area. If Bitcoin is going to remain bullish, we do need to kind of hold this anchored VWAP and get back above the macro value area high right around 107K pretty darn quickly here. If we cannot get back above that, if we start to close a couple hourly candles below this macro value area high, I think it's a high probability that we do dump down much, much further, most likely taking out Thursday's lows. But that's honestly about it, guys. Bitcoin is just still ranging. You know, it seems like for a long time now, Bitcoin is in these huge ranges for long periods of times, makes a move, and then ranges some more. Okay, so now let's go into the liquidity. And this is the Model 3 heat map, and it's just the past 1 week of price action. Just looking at, the last 1 week, you can see that the majority of the liquidity is above us still, and it's actually coming up to take out the all-time highs. Coming up right above our all-time highs, right around 112. You can see if we come into that liquidation heat map, coming up about 110 all the way up to about 112.5 is where all that liquidity would be taken out. So, and because some of the exchanges on last Monday did hit the 886, it does give us a higher probability to take out the highs, the all-time highs, before truly seeing a real breakdown of this range. But I do not want to, I want to also say 97K is still a big possibility here. And even coming down to 97K, bouncing from 97K and then taking out the all-time highs would still be acceptable because we'd just be grabbing the liquidity of the entire range, coming a little bit lower to our next major support level. But overall, the uptrend would be continuing to the upside. The larger daily uptrend would be continuing. And then going back to the liquidation heat map, you can see there is also liquidity below Thursday's lows. And this is what I talked about yesterday. We do have that front run of the value area low and a front run of the 786 into our pitchfork band of support. So really, range trading. What does this tell me? With liquidity on both sides of the range, on the lows of last week plus the highs of the range, we have liquidity on both sides. And I do think this could just signal more rangy price action. I'm going to be leaning on, depending on, we're about to close, actually we just closed the daily candle, so let's go ahead and zoom out onto the daily chart and let's look at this. So we do have a new daily, no, not a new daily level yet, but we do have, this daily candle does look pretty bearish here with that wick to the upside, trying to break out of the macro value area high. Let's go ahead and hide this 5-week range. Let me clean up this chart just a bit. So you can see here on our macro volume profile, we do have, and let me just finish cleaning this up. Sorry, guys. Let's just get rid of that. Okay, on our daily time frame chart, we're still back underneath the macro value area high. And you can see on the daily, we tried to make a push outside that volume profile today, ultimately closing the candle back down below the value area low of the range, possibly seeing a failed breakout of the macro value area high where we do kind of roll over and at least come down and take out Thursday's lows. This candle wick here does not look very bullish if you want to see Bitcoin continue up higher immediately. And let's see. So yeah, money flow still looks okay, still looks pretty decent here. It is still looking like it wants to rise to the upside. But if we do close today's candle red, we could see that money flow start to roll over again, creating that trigger, another trigger wave, another bearish trigger wave where we could continue to see that dump. The other thing I want to talk about on the daily is the pitchfork midline in red here. You can see it was holding as support through all of this, lost it, back tested it as resistance in this area, got above it one time here on that 3-wave corrective move, but now we're dumping back underneath it, and today we rejected it as resistance again. Now that we're back underneath it, it is turning back into resistance and we are rejecting it. So as far as the pitchfork trading goes, we're rejecting the midline. The next probable scenario is to dump back down to the band again to see if the band holds its support as it did in this area here. And what is at that band of support? It's what I just talked about, our long opportunity that we talked about yesterday, which is the SFP of Thursday's lows into the 786 and into the 5-week range value area low around 1025, 1027 to 1025. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. It looks like it is starting to dump pretty hard here, starting to lose the anchored VWAP. Unfortunately, this could get bad quickly to the downside. We could flush, take out all this liquidity here. Let's come in here. It is still just a squeeze so far, so our open interest is decreasing. So this is not new short positions that are coming in that are dumping the market. It is late longs getting stopped out that is causing the market to dump here. Just a little bit of a long squeeze to the downside. But it is dumping pretty hard here. Let's go ahead and take a fib. Yeah, we're hitting our very, very local golden pocket, which does invalidate the double 1-2 impulse. So a 1-2, 1-2, this being a 3. Because we're hitting the golden pocket of the wave 3, this does invalidate a double 1-2 impulse to the upside. So no longer that is going to be a scenario for me on my charts. Possibly we could see a small bounce here, but I do not think this is where it's going to end. I think we are going to continue dumping. That's about it for Bitcoin, guys. Let's go ahead and quickly go over some of the altcoins just very quickly. Ethereum is still trading within its range that it's been for about 6 weeks. On Thursday, we bounced from the value area low and the anchored VWAP. Today, we worked our way all the way up to the value area high, and we did reject the value area high. Now we're dumping, and actually it looks like right now we're starting to lose the point of control of the range. I would have liked to come down to the bottom of the channel. We did not quite hit the bottom of the channel. This channel was pulled off the 2 major highs here. Had a deviation of the channel into, there was a naked weekly point of control up there, I believe it was, something like that. But now that we are dumping, let's go ahead and pull our fib from Thursday's lows to our highs today. Okay, we are at the golden pocket, and the golden pocket is near our point of control. So if Ethereum is going to continue to work its way to the upside, this area of support does have to hold. Let me throw on the 786 here. Okay. There is some nice liquidity resting right below that 786. But we are at local support for Ethereum, golden pocket, and the point of control. If we start closing even 30-minute candles below this golden pocket, I do think we are probably going to come down and take out Thursday's lows as well. Seeing an SFP of Thursday's lows into the bottom of the channel. And if that doesn't hold, we could dump all the way down to 23.23 to grab our liquidity of the lows of the range of the last 6 weeks. Moving on to Solana. Solana as well is, we have this volume profile trading just the last week of price action. Let's go ahead and pull this. Yeah, since Friday, May 30th, so a couple weeks here. Solana's been ranging sideways for a couple weeks. Last week, we dumped down to our major point of control, and we actually grabbed some liquidity that we were looking at. Yes, at 141.53. You can see on Thursday's low, we grabbed liquidity of the prior weeks, June 5th lows. And we continued to, after grabbing liquidity, we broke back above the volume profile and broke within the volume profile of this smaller range, was able to flip that point of control to support, and we did work our way up to the point of control of the 2-week range that we've been at, but we rejected from our golden pocket, overall creating a lower high on the charts. You can see here. So this golden pocket is pulled from the highs of June 11th, around $168 down to Thursday's lows. And seeing that this was a pretty impulsive move to the downside, we have a 3-wave corrective move up to the golden pocket, which does look more corrective. And now we are starting to dump with volume to the downside. So unfortunately, this could be a sign that Solana does come down and make new lows below Thursday's lows. And I do want to talk about one other level, because at around $140, we do have that key liquidity grab from last range lows that we never took out. And that was a level of support that we were looking at on the charts. Let's see. Let me get rid of some of these boxes. We did bounce from that box last week. I'm going to get rid of that now. And this was a rejection area we were looking at last week. So we had front run on Thursday's lows the liquidity grab of our prior range. You can see this guy here was a range we were in for a few weeks, broke it to the upside, started another range up in this area, broke it to the downside, and now we are kind of just forming, unfortunately, this topping pattern that we see come in oftentimes on these bigger time frames. But and even here, this does look a little bit toppy, like a model one, model two distribution pattern here. So I do think there's a possibility we could come down to take out 140 on Solana if our golden pocket that we are at does not hold. Let's go actually zoom in. Coming in, quite haven't quite got to the golden pocket quite yet. So Ethereum's at its golden pocket, but if this area doesn't hold, you can see our anchored VWAP's also at 147. Value area low is very close by as well. Value area low of our 2-week range. But this rejection that we got today at 158 and 157 was a bad sign because we had broke down, made new lows, breaking market structure bearishly, saw a 3-wave corrective move up to the golden pocket where we put in a lower high, and now we are dumping with volume to the downside. So unfortunately, this does signal that Solana could be breaking down to make new lows on the charts. And looking at that liquidity grab around 140 is the area that I will be looking at potentially taking along. You can see that liquidity grab would be into the bullish backtest of our pitchfork that we had broken out of. This pitchfork held its support through this whole range. Then we broke it to the upside. Now that we are breaking back down here, we could see a liquidity grab of that range low into the pitchfork band or into the bullish backtest of the pitchfork. And then we could see a reversal from there. So let's just go ahead and mark this out. This area here. All right, that is about it for Solana. Just going to go quickly over some of these coins here. Sui is still just ranging as well. We did see a rejection from the resistance that we were looking at being that monthly level. It was a 382 value area low of our range that we've been in since April 24th. So, a couple months now, or almost a couple months long now, we've been seeing this range form, this descending channel. We did bounce from the bottom of the descending channel after grabbing our range liquidity, or after grabbing the liquidity at the bottom of the channel. But we worked our way up to our anchored VWAP, which you can see this anchored VWAP was holding as support through most of this area. Now it is flipping to resistance, seeing rejection and breaking down. Okay, and this daily's been tapped. I don't know why I didn't delete that. Looks like we do have a new daily level on Sui. Sui does have some nice bull divs here. So overall, what I would like to say about Sui is we did see that very nice 5-wave move to the upside, finishing our big daily impulse, and we've been correcting down now. If this channel can hold with the bull divs that we are starting to see, lower lows on the price action, higher lows on the momentum waves, also confirmed on NAMI here. If the bottom of the channel can hold, I do think that Sui could start to blast to the upside here. So I will be looking at the bottom of that channel again for a potential long opportunity, but I'm going to want to see some local bull divs coming in on the charts. That means we would probably have to see a little bit of a deviation of the channel to grab our wick lows here. Seeing an SFP of a weekend low, Saturday, June 14th. Weekend lows. And we often know that weekend lows do get taken out. We're at the golden pocket, local golden pocket now. This might give us a small bounce, but I would expect to make a lower high and then continue down overall. Okay, on XRP. XRP is still holding our macro value area low, which was right around 207. We were able to break back within the smaller volume profile. You can see it was acting as resistance for a while. Broke back into it. We broke up to the value area high of that volume profile. This is just the sideways price action we've been in since this big impulse to the downside ended. Rejected value area high. Once again, though, we still have not come up to hit that naked monthly point of control. And I still have the long position open. And I was looking for the SFP of Wednesday, June 11th highs into that naked monthly point of control. I still have my limit TP set there. We'd front run it again today, and we'd front run the liquidity grab. In some ways, you could see that as bullish, because if we come up there again, now we're going to have two failed liquidity grabs. We could bust straight through it up to this 241 to 245 area of resistance. But XRP was looking really strong today. It was outperforming many coins today, pumping pretty hard. If we take our fib from Thursday's lows to the highs that we made today, you can see that our golden pocket is going to be coming in around the value area low of the range. So I would say in order for XRP to really remain bullish here, we need to bounce from this box of support between 217 and 216, or 217.8 and 216.2. If XRP can come down here and we see some local bull divs on the chart, then I would be interested in looking to add to the long position from there. Right now, 15-minute money flow looks pretty bad here. No bull divs. Let's go on to the 6-minute. Yeah, 6-minute money flow looks pretty bad. No bull divs. 3-minute, no bull divs yet. So I think it's a really high probability that we continue to dump at least until we hit this golden pocket and value area low, this box of support in here. And if this doesn't hold, we probably are going to come down and take out the lows, possibly last Thursday's lows, but probably the lows at 205. And then finally going on to Chainlink here. Chainlink still is just chopping around as well. Let's see. We did reject from that ABC corrective target, that 3-wave corrective move. Rejected from the area of resistance. And now we are seeing that continuation to the downside. Yeah, so it looks like overall Chainlink has been in this sideways smaller range since May 30th as well. So about 2 weeks now. The same range that a lot of these coins have been in for 2 weeks, this flat range. And it did reject the point of control of that range. Also, it looks like it could have been, let's grab a fib. .5 Fibonacci. Looks like it was front run. Okay, so we're just rejecting the point of control of the range. And now that we're rejecting the point of control, we're still trading within this descending channel. But the value area low of the range is going to be coming in around our golden pocket. Actually, around our 786. So I'd say local support on Chainlink is going to be between the value area low and the 786. If this doesn't hold, we're going to come down to make new lows and come down to our macro value area low of our much bigger range that goes back all the way until February. And that's at the bottom of our channel. So that is going to be at about 12.4, 12.45. So if 13 doesn't hold, then we're going down to 12.45. It would grab the liquidity of the last two lows. We do have some liquidity that's building up here. Low here, higher low, higher low, higher low. So we are starting to create that curve of liquidity that we could flush down, sweep all that liquidity into our channel bottom and our value area low and see a bounce from there. But this rejection that we are seeing on many coins, including Bitcoin, from some lower high resistances is not a good sign on the charts. And it does tell me that we could make new lows, at least below last Thursday's lows for a lot of these coins. We do have a lot of uncertainty in the market right now with what's happening with the wars that are going on. And the one thing that markets hate the most is uncertainty. So this could cause more volatility and more downside volatility, in particular in the price action of many of these coins. Okay, guys, if you got anything out of this video, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Also, we do have a couple sponsors of the channel. We have BYDFI. They are offering up to 15% cash back on your initial deposit. And they are also offering a 70% discount on trading fees. You can also get higher discounts on trading fees depending on how much you deposit. $8,100 in futures trading bonuses depending on how much volume you trade. And then the second sponsor of the channel is MEXC. They're offering 10% cash back on your initial deposit and up to $20,000 in futures trading bonuses. And then lastly, we do have NAMI. NAMI is the new indicator that I've been using to help enter and exit trades. They are running a 50% off special for a limited time. Discount code is Divine50. If you use my affiliate link with that discount code, you can get 50% off. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow.